Hey, what is up, guys? This is my first post ever for Daily Fantasy. I'm starting a new YouTube channel that is in the top left, Adrenaline DFS on YouTube. If you don't mind stopping by, dropping a follow, subscribe, hit the notifications bell. I greatly appreciate it. Thanks. Um, let's see. Week 1, baby. Tonight is the first game with the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears. Two teams that I hate because I'm a Lions fan, unfortunately. But with that being said, we're gonna actually skip over that because we're gonna just do Sunday's slate for now. I'm gonna give you my input and some of the stuff by the numbers. So yeah, let's get started. We'll start with QBs. Well, actually, what I like to do first is I go to like the lines on each team and how much they're projected to score per or in the matchup. Just to get a general, you know, outlook on what teams are supposed to put up the most amount of points. Vegas is rarely completely off, so start by that. And I wrote these down earlier this week, but I'm pretty sure they're wrong. Well, they're changed, not wrong. But so let's see. We go for the top team. It's most likely Kansas City. Let's make sure. 27.5. See, it was at 28 earlier. 7. Where's Philly? Philly. And also, we are live streaming on Twitch right now. Papa Bear 15 on Twitch. I also stream on Mixer as well. Sometimes it's under Lyle streams. If you guys like video game content, I play Fortnite. I like to do basically kind of like what Awesemo and them do with like live before lock on Sunday mornings. I get up early and then basically do a whole rerun of this live on stream. I'm actually live right now on Twitch. So if I randomly talk to people, that's why. All right. So where is Philly? I know Philly had a high team total. Right here, Eagles 27. Okay, so the line is wow. That's pretty actually awesome right now. So the Chiefs are now at 27.5. Philly's also at 27.5. And the Seahawks are at 27, which they've been at 27. Okay. Anybody else at 27? Chiefs 25. Really? Okay. Browns are or Rams are 26 and 26, 26 and a half for the Cowboys, boy. But we're not. Oh yeah. Wait. Hello. Oh yeah, we are doing that game. Yeah. So 26 and a half isn't bad either for Dallas. They've been at 26 and a half. Cool. All right. So we got that basically. Um, that's what I do. I go through and I actually write them all down. Obviously, I'm over here jotting them back down. I'll probably go through when I'm done with the broadcast to make sure I have all my numbers exactly how they are right now on the lines. They're due to change, obviously. Vegas lines change all the time. We'll go here. So, obviously, Pat Mahomes is Pat Mahomes. You know, out here dropping 50 touchdowns and stuff. Like it ain't nothing. He was a beast. Um, he's got a pretty good matchup against Jacksonville. Let's see here, we'll go defense. Go to pass defense. Jacksonville was 6 against the pass last year. Let's see. Well, 5th, I guess. Oh, wait. Yeah, 6th. They're ranked 9. Defensive DVOA is at a minus 9.4. The problem for Jacksonville is that they're playing at Mahomes. like legitimately. He's gonna get his. He always does. He rarely, if ever, has a terrible game. Um, but if you're willing to pay up at quarterback, which I rarely ever do, I normally go with, excuse me, like the mid-tier guys from 50, like legitimately, I'll start at like down here and end about like here-ish, 6K to like 5K. But I mean, obviously, I have to have some Pat Mahomes shares. Jameis this week. I don't think I say that, but I probably will have some Cam Newton. I'll have probably everybody in week one, except for I probably won't get to any Andy Dalton shares at all. Case Keenum, probably not. Um, Ryan Fitzpatrick. You know what? I might take a stab at Ryan and maybe one or two. Look what he did last year in week one. But so yeah, so my best, obviously the lock plays for me. My favorite plays, if you're willing to spend up Pat Mahomes no matter what, just because, like if you're doing cash game, like how can you go wrong with that? Because at running back, there's so much value. You can get away with it pretty easily. Jameis Winston, um, at 6,600 is not bad at all, and obviously with Jameis, you can stack the whole team. Same with Pat Mahomes. Like you can get away with stacking Travis Kelsey and Tyreek Hill. I'm going to limb and go with like Tyreek Hill and Sammy Watkins if you want, or Travis Kelsey, Sammy Watkins. I wouldn't start the running back, but that's just how I construct my lineups. Um, so yeah, and then my other one that I think is like one of the best plays, if not the best play this week, is Lamar Jackson against Miami, because we all know that Miami is just god awful, right? We all on the same. Oh no, oh no. We all in the agreement that Miami's just dog doo doo right now. Um, so yeah, they're not good at all. Let's see real quick. Come on. Okay. Sick website, bro. Um, where do I want to go here? Okay, so pace wise, is this what I'm looking for? Offensive drive stats. Come on. Sick. Sick. Okay. I know that um for them running all the time, I know that Baltimore I think was number 2. Oh yeah, right here with pace. Is this is this right? The pace? I can actually see this. Okay. Regular season total plays not included regular drive stats. So yeah. Well, either way, they ran at a really fast pace last year. Um and obviously he's not a great thrower of the ball yet. But I think in all the games he started last year, he didn't put up less than like 17, I believe. Let's see. Or was it 16? Like 16. So yeah, the games he started 19.9, 22, 17.5, 19.5, 17.7, 16, 27. 16 was against the Chargers too in LA. So 27, 19. So against Chargers again, even though they lost. Um like I said, he's not a good thrower of the ball, but he's playing the worst team in the world. um and So he's gonna get a lot of run. He could throw the ball if he wanted to and scorch that defense. Um, him and Mark Ingram, I feel like they're just gonna have a lot of yards. Um, I'm honestly seeing maybe 100 rushing yards from him and at least a touchdown just from Lamar alone. Um, hopefully he sprinkles in some, passing touchdowns, maybe one or two. But I really, really like Lamar Jackson this week. Um, and he's not really he's at the top of my normal where I like try to strive to get my players. But I feel like he's on the higher end, I guess, but not really. But he's a good play in my opinion. Now the middle of the pack is where I'm all over this week. Um, I don't know my favorite play from the middle of the pack. Probably Jimmy G, even though I don't like him. I think he's overrated, but he's playing Tampa Bay, and we all know what Tampa Bay does. That's nothing. Um, Jimmy G's got a lot of weapons now. Um, he's got decent running backs, Breda and Tevin Coleman. Who knows what's gonna happen with that situation? But yeah, you can go anywhere in here. Obviously the Phillies offensive line, not the offensive line literally, but the amount of points scored. They're supposedly going to score 27 and a half. That's their line. Um, so nothing wrong with getting some Carson Wentz stacks. The problem with Carson Wentz is he throws the ball to everybody, and it's hard to, you know, figure out who he's going to throw it to. Um, my guess is Zach Ertz at all times. I always choose Zach Ertz because that's who he throws it to a lot. But you also have Djax if you want to just, him. He could have 4 catches for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. And actually, I have some Djax ownership as well, um, stacked with Carson. So, yeah. From there, Josh Allen's a sneaky one because he runs the ball a lot as well, and he puts up decent numbers. Like, look at this game against Miami. I know it's Miami, but like crap, dude. You know what I mean? Um, he's got these games like this: 33, 26, 20, 24. Oh man, he torched Miami last year at all times. And then you have these, but we're not gonna talk about those. I believe this game was like heavily raining too. I can't remember for sure. Or was that against Pittsburgh? Something like that. So yeah, he had some bad games, but we're not looking for when you're doing like GPPs, you're not looking for somebody that's 100% the best player ever to start in your lineup. You're looking for a contrarian play that people aren't going to be too high on. And against the Jets with not too many weapons, I feel like he could be a sneaky little play. My favorite game probably from other than Jameis and Garoppolo stack would be probably, and this isn't no homer stuff, but I would say Stafford and Kyler Murray. Um, I think Kyler will get more. I have to look at the projected ownerships. I haven't even got into that yet this morning, but I think that maybe Stafford will have a little more ownership than Kyler, but either way, I would lean on whoever has the least amount. If you have a tool to tell you that, I use various tools to figure out numbers. Obviously, I just don't know them by heart. Like nobody really does. Um, so I would go with whatever one you're more comfortable with. Um, I wouldn't really dabble with like a Kirk Cousins this week. One of the sneakiest plays that's getting overlooked a lot is Nick Foles. I'm not a huge Nick Foles believer, but he's also playing against Kansas City, and Kansas City likes to give up a lot of yards, and they score a ton. So the faster the pace of the game, the more opportunities the quarterbacks are gonna have. Nick Foles. The problem with Nick Foles is in that offense. Like I'm not sure where to go with stacks. I would go with more of like the D.D. Westbrook. I guess Marquise Lee's supposed to play, but I don't think he's gonna get like a full share because he's coming off his knee injury. So I would probably lean on like a D.D. Westbrook, and if you really want to be sketchy, I would go with like a Chris Conley, which is very scary in my opinion. But I mean, scary plays pay off because he'll be like 1% owned. Let's see who else we got down here. Not a fan of Eli this week. Andy Dalton, sketchy. Sam Darnold, not really. Buffalo actually has a sneaky good defense. Marcus Mariota, truly, truly don't like his quarterback play. I think he's very overrated. Um, I don't know about Dak. I'm not a. I normally don't ever play Dak, no matter what, unless like it's um like a showdown game. I normally wouldn't touch a Dak Prescott. But if you do, you know who to stack him with. You got Amari Cooper. I mean, it's him or Gallup. No thanks. Amari's hit or miss, but he played really, really well with Dak last year. Um, then you got Philip. I love Philip Rivers. I have like a emotional connection with this guy. He's one of my favorite players. Because he's so fiery. But how can you go wrong again with Philly or with Philip? I call him Philly, so sorry. Um, but he is playing Indy, who has a really underrated defense. They can get to the quarterback pretty fast. They have a great running or a great linebacker. Um, who might win like defensive player of the year type great. Um, maybe because Khalil Mack is still in the league. But yeah. Other than that, like all these other plays, like I guess if you wanna on the kind of the higher spectrum, Jared Goff is a decent play against Carolina just because they sling it. Cam Newton as a contrarian play to him. You can go with that stack, but once again in the Panthers offense, who do you stack Cam with? Like, you can go with Olsen, I guess, and DJ Moore, or you can go Samuel. You could also, in my opinion, with Cam in that offense, if you project it's going to be a high scoring game, which their total is supposed to be like 24ish. It's not too great, but it's not terrible. You could stack Cam and run CMC, but it's really limiting your, your potential in that lineup. Like the only running back quarterbacks I like to stack are like maybe like a Russell Wilson and well, not really so much Russell anymore because he doesn't run as much. So like a Josh Allen and Singletary or um Lamar Jackson and um Mark Ingram this year. I think actually my first lineup I put together this year for this slate was a Lamar Jackson um Mark Ingram stack, I believe. Which is weird, but hey, what are you gonna do, let's see, is there any other plays? So obviously we all know what happened with Andrew Luck. Jacoby Brissett's down here at 4,400. Obviously it's the cheapest player for the quarterback position. But I feel like he's gonna be owned a lot because of his price tag. No, I'm not saying stay away from him because I think he's a lot better than people perceive him to be because of the year when he started. He had a terrible year. Like look at his fantasy points average minus 0.2. Um, that offensive line was god awful when he started. Um, but now it's like a top 5 line in the league. Marlon Mack's healthy. Marlon Mack's a really good running back in my opinion. He's got Naheem Hines there, and obviously he's got one of the best receivers in the league in Ty. He also has Jack Doyle, Eric Ebron. He's got a lot of weapons around him. Devin Funchess not great, but he's a really big body. Um, he's got a lot of potential. As long as he could just, all he has to do is get some protection. The problem is he's playing the Chargers with Melvin Ingram and Joey Bosa, so he's not gonna have a ton of time to throw. And they should be behind, so I feel like a lot of scrap points will go to Jacoby, and I will have him in a few lineups. Um, I'm not feeling the Case Keenum train. Who's he gonna throw it to? You know, maybe a Chris Thompson play. That could be a little sneaky play because they should be behind most of the game, and we all know. Well, I personally think Chris Thompson's a really good flex, like wide receiver type running back. Fitzpatrick. I'm gonna have a few shares of Fitty, just because you never know, dude. Fitzpatrick, he just shocks the world, man. Let's look at Week 1 last year. Oh my God, this torched so many people against the Saints. Oh, he killed us. Look at this. Boom. In in my in my league where you pick the winner every week, I literally lost Week 1, and so did like 90% of the people because we all took New Orleans. And he just destroyed. Look at these games, dude. And then he has these. These are the games you're like, oh my God, you know what I mean? But Fitzpatrick could do some crazy things, man. Even against, Baltimore. Baltimore's when aren't they great? You know what I mean? Their defense. What do we have up here? Oh, Duke Johnson's not. Yo, everybody signed with the Texans. Like, okay, or traded to the Texans. So from there, yeah, I hope that helps a little bit if you're, you know, looking for any kind of insight. Let me see if I got Baker. Tennessee's a decent defense, but I feel like there's so many better plays than Baker. So many better plays than Russell, even though I love Russell Wilson. Actually, I have him in my year-long league. Um, I just feel like there's just a lot of opportunity in this vicinity right here. From like Lamar to Nick Foles. Just I love almost every one of these guys except for Dak and Kirk Cousins. I ain't touching him. They're just gonna run the ball the whole dang time. Gary Kubiak offense. So we'll move to Arby's. Arby's? I'm hungry now. Instantly. My man Ezekiel Elliott's back. But I don't like him. But I like him. You know what I mean? He's from Ohio State. Ugh. I'm a Michigan fan. So it is what it is. No. So Arby's, obviously, dude. Like legitimately, you can't go wrong with any of these guys. Like seriously. The only one I'd be really worried about, if you're gonna be worried at all, is Todd Gurley, because who the hell knows what's going on there? Todd Gurley's knee could be messed up, but we don't know because they don't tell us anything. Um, who we didn't even know he wasn't really gonna play in the Super Bowl. It got real weird. And let's see. Yeah, I would just be weary if you're gonna pay up at running back. I'd be very weary of this guy. But other than that, even though he could still get 20 carries, he's gonna perform because he does. That's what he does. My favorite. I don't like Saquon as much. I think Saquon may be the best running back in football, but I don't know. Dallas is a good defense. They got really good linebackers. I don't think he's not gonna perform. I just think there's better plays. Like Zeke. If Zeke gets 20 carries, which he probably won't, but if he does, he should outperform Saquon. But my favorite probably is Christian out of the top four because he just catches the ball a lot. Cam Newton's a little hobbled, so hopefully he won't take some of his goal line work. This dude caught, like, look at these passing, like, look at these targets. 13, 11, 7, 10, 11, 8, 6, 6, 6, 6. You know, this 15. This is just absurd numbers. Absurd as a running back. And the more targets you get, you know, he's going to get his carries. Like he was in double digit carries all last year. Like after like week what? After week 7, he got double digit carries except for the last week, which I don't think they really played much. I don't think he didn't play much. 21, 15, 16, 10, 17. If you combine that, like look at this game. 21 attempts, 101 yards, 12 catches. This is like what? He didn't get in the end zone, did he? He didn't get in the end zone at all and still dropped the 32 ball. Like that's crazy. Um but yeah, I really like him this week cuz they should be behind because the Rams are the Rams. They're really good. And he's just opportunity. He's just going to get he's going to get catches, he's going to get targets. It should be there. Let's see in the next tier, I would start Melvin Gordon. If you're not me, everybody just start him because, you know, no, I'm just kidding. But this whole scenario is weird. I don't like Melvin Gordon as much as people like him. I like him in fantasy though. Like he's a good fantasy player, but as a normal running back, he's not very good. He averages like I think like 3.1 yards a carry or 2.9 yards. At least he did before prior to last year. It just wasn't very good. But enough of him. Let's see. DJ, I kind of really like him, even though he's going against my team. He broke his wrist against my team, but 2 years ago. But I think he's due for a bounce back year. I had him last year in an 18-team league. I paid $104 for him in an auction draft, and he crushed my whole soul. But the good thing is I picked James Conner off waivers, and I got Pat Mahomes for $5. So I was chilling until the playoffs. I made the playoffs and got crushed. Um, so DJ I really like, but he's another one that's really pretty expensive, especially with the amount of value you have in these running backs is just absurd this week. Obviously it's week 1. Nobody really knows where anybody's at right now. Like a Le'Veon Bell, like we don't know what we're gonna get. I'm assuming decent work, but still not the value I'm looking for. I guess they said that Nick Chubb will be pretty high owned. I'm not really sure why. Especially with these other guys down here. So I guess you could take a flyer on him. He's not a bad running back at all, but against good rushing defense, did he do anything? Wait, look at this line, bro. 3 rushes for 105 yards. Okay, bud. Nah, I really like him. I'm a low-key Georgia fan, like, because Stafford went to Georgia. Red and black's my favorite colors. You know, I don't know. I just love Georgia, and then the running backs are just they are what they are. Everybody's good. Todd Gurley, Sony Michel, Nick Chubb. Yeah, they also have another one there right now. Um, so my values obviously are right here. I told you earlier on I'd like Mark Ingram a lot. Devontae Freeman's a sneaky little play. He should get the touches, but be wary of Ito Smith because he crushed my Tevin Coleman plays last year. They just kept giving him the ball on the goal line and stuff. It was just depressing for me. But Devontae's not a terrible price. This is a guy I wanted to talk about. I'm not a huge supporter of him this week. I don't feel they'll be behind, and I don't feel he's a running back to carry a load. Like, I just don't see it. I just don't see it. Um, like when he was filling in with Justin Jackson for Melvin Gordon, it wasn't nothing like, yeah, that's the guy. I actually think the opposite. I would rather pay down. I think to how much is Justin? 44? No, he's 4K. I'd rather come down here and pay down to him if I'm taking a flyer on either of them because the game script should be better suited for him. Um, and he's a bigger back. He can withstand, the beating. I actually drafted him in 2-year long keeper leagues because I want to keep him for next year because he should be the starting running back by next year. As long as he stays healthy. Um, but yeah, so back in this range, the highest owned player this week, no matter what happens, is going to be Dalvin Cook because he's 6K and he's going to be like 35% owned. Some crazy number. Am I going to get some Dalvin Cook shares? You're damn right I'm going to. But he will be the highest owned running back and player on the slate. Like, it's just, when you talk about the best plays, look at 32 opponent ranked defense. Um, it's Atlanta. They can't stop the run. He catches the ball a little bit. Um, it should be a pretty good game. Gary Kubiak offense, so it's gonna be ground and pound basically the whole time. Um, yeah, there's not much more to say. He will be the most owned player. If you're willing to just pivot from him, I would highly recommend it. Even if he drops 30 points, yeah, it sucks. But the the pivot play should be the right play. Um, to me, there's so many options. You can go anywhere from Leonard Fournette, which I really, really like this week. Um, on Johnson, Chris Carson, Marlon Mack's scary because Naheem Hines. They should be in a negative game script, so they'll be passing more. So Naheem Hines will take some of that, even though Marlon Mack's a suitable receiving back. I still think that Marlon Mack could be a decent play, I guess, but I don't know. There's just Chris Carson against Cincinnati, like on Johnson against Arizona. Like there's just so many good plays. Leonard Fournette against Kansas City. The only way Leonard Fournette doesn't do decent is if they're getting crushed. That's the only way I see it. Um, and we talked about Mark Ingram and Devontae Freeman already. Pretty good plays. Now on the sneaky end, I was going through this last night on my own, just chilling, just going over stuff while my lady does her little macrame and crocheting crab. I don't know what it is, but Dion Lewis. I have a feeling that he's gonna get quite a bit of run. I'm not a huge fan of him as a player, but I have a feeling he's gonna get some decent because they should be in a negative game script as well. They should be getting beat by Cleveland pretty bad if Cleveland plays like Cleveland should play. Though their defense is really good, Dion is set up for you know maybe like 15 to 17. No. Probably like maybe like 10 carries, but maybe like 10 targets as well because they're behind so much. And maybe he can break one. I think for 4,700 is worth a try, maybe once or twice in your lineups. Um, let's see who else. Justin Jackson, I mentioned. I'm gonna actually play him a few times this week, even if he poops the bed. It is what it is. I like Breda more than I like Tevin Coleman. He's gonna be their passing or receiving back. He's also a bigger back, and he's just hurt all the time. Okay, he's just hurt. The guy gets hurt. It is what it is. I like him though. Like I think he's better than Tevin Coleman, and Tevin Coleman's like $1,000 more. Yeah, 4K, and I think Tevin's 5 on the dot. Yeah. So, I would rather just not deal with it. Let's see who else. Tevin Coleman, or I mean not Tevin Coleman. Um, sorry, I have a physical therapy appointment at 1, and I didn't realize it until just now. But it's okay. We have time. Let's see. Yeah, I'm Miles Sanders might be just a sneaky little play to see what happens. Um, there's not too many crazy ones down here. I mentioned Chris Thompson might be a decent one for 3,500, and then you got Singletary, who's technically, I think, the starter there, but they're a three-headed monster there. I would kind of avoid that whole backfield with T.J. Yeldon, Frank Gore, and Singletary. Um, yeah, C.J. Anderson shouldn't be getting much reps. Peyton Barber's another starter that could get in the end zone. Just don't see it panning out too great. Um, and like I said, I'm probably missing a bunch of crap, but this is my first video doing this kind of stuff. So if you guys would, I would appreciate like dropping um like some comments, letting me know how to be or do it better, how what I should break down better, like all that good stuff. Just criticism on how to be better, and then I will work on it. So we'll go from there to the wide receivers. Um, wide receivers isn't as good and as deep as running backs this week, but there's still some good ones. Um, I don't think you can really go wrong with Julio, Mike Evans, Tyreek Hill, even Keenan Allen. Um, Odell, I don't know what we're gonna get from him because you got Juice there, Njoku, Nick Chubb. There's just so much weapons. I would put him on the second tier of players just because you don't know. You know what you're getting out of Julio, Mike Evans, Tyreek Hill's gonna get the ball a bunch. Keenan Allen should get the ball a bunch. Um, AJ Green, if you want to take a flyer, you could try to start him. He's not gonna give you any points, but it is what it is. Um, Thielen and Diggs, I would just avoid this week, even though it's against Atlanta. I think it's gonna be a slower paced game. Atlanta's defense is not terrible by any means. They had a bunch of injuries last year and they were getting scorched a little bit, but I don't think it's terrible. Um, if you're gonna start one, I don't even know. Thielen probably. That's who I would probably start, just because I like Thielen as a receiver way more than I like Stephon Diggs. But they're both pretty good. Amari Cooper with Dak. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't trust Dallas at all, their offense. But I mean, why not, right? You could take him as just a one-off. You could take a Cooper, something like that, because he can have his game where he drops. Let's see. What do you do? Where he drops this kind of numbers: 10 catches, 3 touchdowns, 217 yards, or this one: 8 catches, 2 touchdowns. Ugh, beastly numbers, but ugh. Ugh, I don't know. He's so inconsistent. He drops the ball all the time and stuff. Let's see. The Rams wide receivers, I don't know what to do with them. If you're gonna start them, you might as well start two of them. I would start like a Woods and Actually, I'd probably start like Brandon Cooks and Cooper Kupp. Um, but I have no idea, dude. That's just crazy offense. I don't know. I'll have some shares, of each, but I don't know which one I would prefer. I would prefer if I was taking a single player on that offense, I would take Cooper Kupp. I heard he's faster after his ACL tear. Like what? How's it? What? Okay, sure. A robotic knee and stuff. Okay. Kenny Galladay, I'm not really high on him, but I think he's gonna be one of the best plays this week. For the price tag. Especially being like around guys like Robert Woods in here, Chris Godwin, super high price because of the hype this year. Like I feel like Kenny Galladay, even though I sound like a homer doing this stuff, but I normally avoid Detroit players because I know how the game script goes, and we always somehow underperform every single time. But I think he could be in line for a couple touchdowns, maybe 100 yards. Um, Chris Godwin it's a good play, but he's pretty expensive for really not knowing what we're getting exactly. Um, I really like Mike Evans this week because I feel like he's going to be a lot less owned than Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin's going to be pretty high owned. Um, I'm not even opposed to starting Godwin and Mike Evans, but you're, you know, you're limiting your ceiling a bit. Tyler Lockett, I just see this being mostly like a ground and pound game for them. Of course, Tyler Lockett can break free at any time and get a deep touchdown pass, but I prefer the running back in that scenario with that team. There's Cup right here. Jarvis Landry, no idea. No idea. That whole offense is going to just be weird, and it's going to be like the Rams offense. You're not going to know who to play. You play one, the other one's going to go. It's going to be a crazy scenario. DJ Moore, I kind of like with this Cam stack this week. Maybe a Cam and an Olsen. Pretty good play for 5,500. This is one of my favorite plays. If he's gonna be healthy, he's got a little bit of nicks and stuff. Like he's got a groin injury right now, but this guy's an athletic freak, and he's a really good player. He should be fine, but I like him a lot against Tampa Bay's just great defense. Let's see where else. Sneaky plays, anything. Could be a little Calvin Ridley action. Definitely wouldn't mind that. I will have some Sammy Watkins. I do not like Sammy Watkins as a receiver. But this is the type of game script where Sammy Watkins will have one of his games. Like one of these. You know what I mean? Like an 8 catch, 100 yards, and a couple touchdowns. Like just something. Because look at these other games, dude. He's just. Ugh. Overrated, but whatever. Sterling Shepard might get a lot of looks, like a lot of opportunities, because of the lack of talent in that offense. Well, lack of talent in the receiver position. Ingram's a beast, and so is Saquon, obviously. So yeah, he should do for like I would say like 7 to 8. Well, 7, 8 on low end, and like could be like 11 targets, 12 maybe. D.D. Westbrook this week with Nick Foles stack is probably one of my favorites for wide receiver quarterback stacks. I mentioned it earlier. I think that's gonna be Nick Foles is gonna be one of the best plays of this week. And I really, 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 really like Christian Kirk. If you're stacking Arizona's offense, Kyler Murray, Christian Kirk, Kyler Murray, Christian Kirk. I don't know if I want to throw a running back in that mix because I don't think Kyler's gonna run as much as he did in college or anything. But I really like that. Some crazy one-offs that you could take a shot with if you're taking like a what's his name? Buffalo quarterback. Why is it slipping my mind? Josh Allen. Jeez. If you're taking a Josh Allen, you can try a John Brown with it because you know John Brown can break one at any time. Also the Carson Wentz stack with Deshaun Jackson is not a terrible play. Maybe Deshaun and Ertz. Gallup, I'm gonna stay away from. Sanu, I'm gonna stay away from. Curtis Samuel, I drafted him in my year-long league just because I didn't really have anybody else to grab, but I don't really like him this week. A few players that could be flying under the radar that could have a huge game. Maybe not huge. I would say this guy could have a pretty stellar game. Would be Willie Snead because they're just playing Miami. But these two right here, and of course they're on the same team. Marquise Goodwin and Deebo Samuel. I don't know which one to play, but Marquise is faster, but he drops a lot. But he could easily have a monster game, and so could he, because they're both gonna play a lot. Should be a up tempo game, high scoring. And the only other one, I think I mentioned him earlier. Wait, actually, there was. I thought there was somebody at like 3,400 that I was interested in. Does not look like it. Okay. Oh, Rashad Perryman, the number 3, 3,300, but he's their number 3. Um, yeah, it's a flyer. 3,300 worth a shot because he could have he averaged like the highest routes ran, like the I think the average depth, I think, or something like that. Um, he's fast. He looks like Predator. Oh, he don't have his dreads no more. Um, but he could have be due for a big game. But it's one of those like I went high on running back or whatever. I'm gonna just take a flyer with him. He's one of those guys. And then Chris Conley. He's the number 3, I think. If what's his name should be limited. Marquise Lee should be limited. It's a higher, like a faster paced, high volume game script. I think Chris Conley will get enough out of him to be worth the 3,100. Obviously, down here we want those guys that are gonna pop, but you know, I see him having a decent game if Marquise Lee's limited. Let's see if I missed anybody. Robbie Anderson. Yeah, I think that should be good. Tight end, obviously you have your elites from probably Evan Ingram up. You can literally start any of them and you will be 100% fine, I'm pretty sure. Um I mean, the, literally it is a huge drop off with the top 5 to me. The top 5 tight ends to the next group. But if you can afford to pay up, you'll never go wrong with George Kittle, Travis Kelce, Zach Ertz. I'd be a little hesitant with the next 2, but not too bad. I really like Evan Ingram this year. Should have a huge year. OJ Howard the same. I think he'll get a lot of catches that Cameron Brate was getting last year. I feel like more of them will go to him now. Um, if you can pay up, which paying up isn't that bad with the tight end. There's 4,800 for Evan Ingram on the low spectrum, 5K for OJ Howard. Then you got like 1,100, 1,600, 2,100 difference from OJ Howard. But you know what you're getting with these guys. Like look at these numbers, and that's not a fluke. That's what they do every single week. They just go off. Eric Ebron should have a down year. Um, Jack Doyle should actually have a better year because I feel like Jacoby Brissett threw it to him more. Well, actually, he liked him when he was starting. He threw it to Jack Doyle quite often. Um, Obviously Hunter Henry. A lot of people will be on Hunter Henry this week, which for good reason. He's a good player. Just he's always hurt. Um, he should be fine. I don't hate that play at all. Njoku 3,700 is not terrible, but then again, like I said, the offense is crazy stacked with talent. You don't never know who's gonna get what and what's gonna get who and all that goodness. um, kind of like sleeper plays that aren't really sleeper plays. Greg Olson should be a high scoring game because they should be behind. They should have to throw it a bunch. And Greg Olson is Greg Olson. He's a beast. Delaney Walker, same scenario. They should be behind quite a bit throwing the ball. They don't have a lot of weapons on offense, and he's a pretty good tight end. I wouldn't touch Kyle Rudolph because Kyle Rudolph does these kind of things where he has these numbers often, like often. Like these are decent, but you're only winning with this lineup. You know what I mean? With this one, you're only cashing high with like a lineup with this. And then on this lineup, you accidentally started a third string running back that didn't actually play or something. You know what I mean? So he's just so inconsistent. I would just stay away from him. Let's see who else we got on here. Ooh, one that I like that isn't really being talked about much. He's playing against Detroit, of course. But Charles Clay is 2,700, I think, Where's he at? Right here. Charles Clay, he should be the starter. I'm pretty sure he's the starter. He's going to be their pass catching tight end. If you remember him in Buffalo, he's really good. He's getting older, but he's still the number one there in Arizona. Should be pass first offense. Um, should be high tempo, high pace. For 2,700, you could pay down there and just be completely good to go. Yeah, tight end's pretty cut and dry. There's not too many like good plays in between, but I mean you can take mostly anybody. Mark Andrews, I heard a lot of good things from in camp. Hawkinson's a decent player, but I don't know how much reps he'll get in game one. From there, you got your inconsistent hoopers. Tyler Eifert, who's going to blow his knee in week one. You know, Jason Witten, for some reason, is still on here. Uh, Jeff Swaim, I don't hate. Because the game script should be kind of crazy. But I kind of like Jeff Swaim for a little off the wall play. Could catch a couple touchdowns. Nothing crazy with yards, I don't think, though. And then we'll go with defenses. This is pretty cut and dry as well. You got your Ravens. What else do you need to say? They're playing Miami. God. Philly. I really, really like Philly this week. Cowboys. I actually think that the Giants are going to surprise people. And Eli's going to play really well against the Cowboys. Yeah, they will get their sacks and shit, though. Because they're really good. Their defense is really good. They actually have like a Super Bowl contending team. I just feel like Dak isn't it, but that's just my opinion. But I think the Dallas Cowboys defense could be decent in this spot. The Browns against Tennessee, Marcus Mariota's terrible in my opinion. Um, they're good run defense, so that limits Derrick Henry. And they don't ever feed Derrick Henry for some reason because he's only like 300 pounds, 6'12". You know, nothing major, but you know, doesn't make sense to give him the ball. Just kidding. Let's see. From there, I like Buffalo a little bit. I'm not super high on this because I think Sam Darnold's actually not as bad as people thought he was gonna be. He's pretty good, and obviously they have Le'Veon Bell now. Robbie Anderson could take the top off of any defense. Jamison Crowder's there, not terrible. And then my favorite play probably is the Chargers. Even though Jacoby could do good things, Melvin Ingram and Joey Bosa. That's all. You know, they should get quite a bit of sacks. Yeah, they should just have. They should be able to tee off against Jacoby. But it's defense though. Anything can happen. Like any one of these teams can score a defensive touchdown. It happens all the time. You could even take the Lions defense against Arizona, hoping they get a pick six off Kyler, something crazy like that. But defenses is really with who you think and what your gut is and what you can afford. A lot of people just lock in a super cheap one and go with it, and it pans out a lot of times. So I guess if you want to pay down, I don't know where I would go exactly. Let me look. I wouldn't hate Atlanta that bad. I think yeah, Atlanta maybe. Dude, maybe a Miami play would be decent, but they're so bad. I don't know. But I think, yeah, I think I would only go with Atlanta down here at the bottom. That'd probably be my favorite terrible play. But that's basically what I have today. I gotta go to my physical therapy for my shoulder, but I appreciate everybody hanging out. It means a lot. If you're able to drop a follow, well, subscribe, whatever the heck it is on on YouTube. I'd appreciate it. This should be my first one posted. I'm gonna try to post every week at least once. I'm gonna try to do like the Thursday slate stuff like that. And then we'll try to get FanDuel in here as well. But this is the stuff I love to do, so just gonna have fun. And if nobody shows up, nobody shows up. It is what it is. But if you don't mind dropping a subscribe, hit the bell for the notifications, I'd appreciate it. Also, I'm live Sunday mornings, basically just making sure everything's straight with the injuries and making sure people are locked in, active. If there's any crazy inactives, where we go from there? Um, we should have like the projected ownerships and all that good stuff Sunday morning for sure. So we should be pretty set Sunday morning. Um, I will try to drop a video for Sunday slate at least by Fridays. Um, so I guess we'll see exactly how it goes from there. If I'm start to do Thursday games, for the showdowns, then it might be Friday or Saturday where I'll drop the video. If not, Sunday morning I'll be live probably every Sunday unless I have something crazy going on. Um, but yeah, I appreciate everybody swinging through and hanging out. Till next time, thank you so much for hanging out and supporting. Thank you.